Well, we are here Wednesday, and currently, right now, there's been quite a bit going on with the channel, and quite a bit going on with the LCS, LEC, LPL, and LCK. I'm gonna try and hopefully probably do these on Thursday, but you know, uh, currently, right now, scheduling has been really, really hard. So yeah, let's have a banger show, and let's get into talking about some LEC actually, and also going over some other LCS related ish
Yeah,
gameplay.
yeah. I think we figured out why Vikla has the L uppercased in his name.
Oh Lord. And what is going on, everybody? This is the Cloud9 podcast, season 8, episode 8. So I'm pretty sure next week we'll be able to do this on Thursday, but also doing this on Thursday at around 7 p.m. PST would probably be the best thing right now, because it's just been really hard to just schedule the show because the LCS, given the Players Association debacle with Riot, kind of screwed over how we schedule certain things. So what I'm thinking about probably is just doing everything on like Sunday, but even that is not going to be as good because he can't even cover like the LEC fully, because there's still another day of gameplay that the LEC actually goes through. But we will be able to talk about the LEC because I've been wanting to go over the LEC and cover the LEC 2023 Summer Split games. Currently, right now, it's looking like pretty bad for the most part. Not just for the region itself, but just the gameplay overall has been extremely bad. And you have like certain players that are like, "Oh, well, I don't like the format," but there's no real reason not to like the format. The format actually, I think, is actually fairly good. I think it could use some tweaks here and there, but other than that, I think the format is actually pretty good. All right, so before we get into any of this, I'm gonna make sure I do my usual pinned comment. Actually, as I tell everyone, make sure to smash the like button. Let's get 5 likes. Usually a pretty standard like ratio for these streams. Also, if you want to see
They all
me,
dislike it.
I hate you so much. If you guys want to watch me play League of Legends on Twitch, because currently right now I can only really stream on Twitch right now until August because I'm on YouTube probation right now. Just go follow me on Twitch. Links are in the description box below to follow me on Twitch, or follow my other podcast on the other podcasting platforms. This is only available obviously on like Twitch if you want to watch it live, and obviously if you want to watch the VOD on this channel as well. And yeah, that's going to be pretty much it. And then after that, we're going to be getting into talking about the LEC. Let me get some of these messages answered really quickly. Let me ask her, bring me home some dinner and then I'll buy you a flamethrower. No, not really. It's the woman's job to make me food. Holy shit.
I wonder why you're on probation. Jesus Christ.
Women, all I'm saying is women deserve to make me food. That's all I say. I'm the man, and I bring home that fat, crispy bacon. Lord.
Yeah, okay. That was a legendary stream and the other night.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I made sure to nip it. I basically just hit it in the ankles with my bat and then just went, okay, nothing to see here. See you guys later. And as I was looking back at the LCS right now, I was watching the NRG GG game. How did Golden Guardians lose that? Oh, my Lord. Jesus Christ. Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't surprised. I expected NRG to just come back because Golden Guardians has not been good lately. I don't know how they even have like 4 wins.
Oh, good Lord. You have dogs, don't you? You son of a bitch.
fucking neighbor's dogs. Yeah.
Good lord, gotta punch him in the face. That's what I told you. Oh my lord.
Jeez,
All right,
Jesus.
so let's go over the LEC. I'm gonna bring up the stuff right now, and we'll be getting right into it. Man, woo, it's been pretty crazy for the LEC, everybody. It's been a wild ride. So they don't have Lore and they don't have Shocks right now. Shocks is taking a break. Laurel's in the LCK, and they have been choosing to utilize Frankie Ward, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Now, despite what may have happened recently in terms of Frankie, given Thorin's recent video completely destroying her, I mean, Lord Jesus Christ, he pretty much just.
I mean, trash, destroying trash, whatever.
It's just so crazy.
I mean,
no, it's crazy.
Thorin.
I was gonna ask him. Hey, you ever consider doing a reflections with Frankie?
Oh God, you know. Here's the thing. Thorne's the type of guy. He's sort of like what do you call it? God, there's this one person I'm fucking thinking of. Right, he's sort of like Piers Morgan, where he destroys the biggest idiots in the world that anybody can destroy to make themselves look smart. But then when they go up against somebody smart, they're fucking idiots.
You mean on the same side?
Well, just in general, it's just their jobs. It's like that's sort of like what Thorin is, Piers Morgan. It's like he'll only like debate idiots, so then fucking he makes himself look smart. That's sort of the same thing with Thorin.
I don't know. I mean, he had a lot of things to prove that she was just, not who she says she was. Because that's most women like her, though. They always profess certain things, but that's what they are. They don't really uphold any of those values. That's the big issue. It's not really having the values is the biggest issue. It's like if you claim to be this kind of person, your actions should directly show that. Pretty much show that she's nothing of those things. Now, her obvious hosting job is fine. Like she's been a pretty decent host for the most part, but I think people get this misunderstanding of just because a person does good at their job doesn't mean they're an actual good person. I think that's where it starts to get a little mixed and tangled. But if he ever does a reflection episode with Frankie, hey, what? So how do you feel about gay people?
What the fuck? Oh God.
How do you feel about Saudi Arabia funding you so you can take care of your daughter?
I thought they backed out of that deal.
No, ESL didn't. The LEC did. Actually, ESL's needed that funding for a long time because they ain't making no money. Oh Lord.
Yeah, well, I always find people hypocritical with that stuff. Like, now, to be fair, though, I mean, Thorin fucking has watched and done stuff involving Saudi Arabia before, so he's no better. But yeah, this happens with a lot of people. Like, and this happened during the World Cup. All these people on Twitter talking about that shit, but then they watched the World Cup in Qatar. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
These are the same people who will be like, man, Amazon's so bad. We're like all this, and this. Amazon, these big companies use like child laborers in other countries to produce this massive stuff, right? Yeah, but stick it to the man.
Oh, yeah, remember that Ricky Gervais speech where he's like, oh, yeah, what was it? The Daily Show nominated for some Golden Globes. That show, by a company, Apple, with sweatshops in China. It's like, good job.
The recent one. Remember earlier, was it this year that they had this, Cutie Cinderella, she put on those streamer awards, and then they were sponsored by Fansly. Wouldn't that be against, like, what?
Yeah, that's against a lot of things. It is pretty much illegal, whatever. Yeah, they're fake.
But these girls over here, like, cheer on that kind of thing, but then they're over here getting sponsored by OnlyFans and Fansly. It's like...
Yeah, it's incredible, but, it's sort of like... the year Nomadland won Best Picture, and it's a movie that's all about, sort of like, like the housing crisis and, like being a nomad, right? And, like sticking it to companies and stuff like that. But then they show Amazon in a good light in the film because that's the only way they could film it, in some scenes. So it's literally does the opposite. It's literally a film that shows Amazon in a good light, and it won Best Picture. Good job, guys.
Like, I think when it comes to, like, a lot of that stuff, like, people in the esports industry are really, really bad at that stuff. Like, there was the thing that I think Jake Lucky put that post out today.
something.
Yeah, he put out a post earlier today where someone in the Apex community, in the LG alphabet bacon lettuce tomato community, was supporting Nick Merckx,
Yeah,
or he
I
didn't.
wonder why you're on probation. Jesus fuck.
Bacon lettuce? Don't you like bacon and lettuce on your hamburgers? Oh, lettuce tastes like shit. I know,
it's
but,
not confusing. You can just say LGBT and then
I'm gonna
just put
say
a
alphabet.
plus.
So
Oh my god.
the groomer pedo.
What the fuck?
Oh,
Anyway.
all right. So there was someone in the Apex community that actually didn't hate what Nick Merckx said. He actually fully agreed with him, and then someone found it out for a charity event. One of the more drag queen people in that fucking weirdo place, and they said you can't be a part of this because that's a dog whistle for the community. But it's like, isn't that whole community based around inclusivity and being
Okay, MSK, I hope you realize not every just because there's like some weirdos and something that are idiots
but it's
doesn't mean
never
it's the whole
some.
thing.
It's never some. It's actually a majority of them.
Oh my god. No, because you don't hear about the majority. And anyway.
Well, the thing is, there's no way to prove it if it's a majority or a minority. We're just kind of just going off feeling there.
Yes, but they only report on the ones who act idiotic.
Yeah, but
because there's a lot of people who obviously hate.
The moral standing of the group is supposed to be inclusive, supposed to be accepting of all these other things.
Well, yes, that one is idiotic. The majority of them aren't, but that one separately is. But then people circle it as like the entire LGBT community, because there's a bunch of people just it's sort of the same thing with there's actually a lot of people against shit there probably shouldn't bring kids to pride parades and then have some of that stuff there, but the majority aren't don't support that shit, and it's only a minority that does.
I don't think it's the majority for that one. I think people are mad at that aspect because why is that allowed? That should just be not allowed. But they can't do that with their community because they prided themselves on, Pride, pun intended, Pride Month. They prided themselves on being open. That's the reason why people are.
That's
the issue. They can't.
That's an issue that should be fixed. But again,
they can't fix it because their thing is we accept everybody. That's the problem.
Yeah,
they really inherently can't fix those kind of things.
That's the one flaw with it. But again, but outside of that, I'm sure a majority don't actually. Well, they might not be against it because of that. They don't support it. And again, it's as much as that's bad. And they shouldn't happen. It's minority that does that stuff. But then what happens is there's then the fucking 40 to 50-year-old middle-aged fucking fathers, who will then leap on the chance to say that's the majority and then go on and have their riots and beat up gay people because and that's the problem with both sides.
Where is this happening?
A lot of places, just like the one thing with the MLB recently. But anyway,
oh god,
yeah, but nonetheless, whatever. But when it comes to that situation there with the Valorant player, so here's the problem. All right, there's been a lot of people who try to bring up that stuff protect the kids and stuff, and because of that stuff that has been happening. But there's been a lot of people who are genuine with it, but there are some who kind of just use that as a scapegoat to be homophobic, but also try to make it seem like it's the majority that does that weird stuff at parades and stuff like that, and use that scapegoat defense, protect the kids, when in reality they didn't give a fuck about the kids to begin with. But prior to that, they could see all the fucking gore and nudity in films and shit, and they wouldn't give a fuck. But what Nick Merckx said wasn't like that at all. It was just genuine, and it was just a small comment, just on the side, protect the kids. And then they tried circling him in as one of those few people who do that bad stuff, or who do say that stuff with those intents. And then Nick Merckx responded and say no, I just genuinely scared a bit with some things with that, and that was valid. That was valid.
Think it's people being phobic or anything. I think people use that as a way of deflecting any level of criticism because it shows what's going on. Because that's what a lot of people do. Instead of actually going, hey, this is an issue that's going on,
Mhm.
I'm gonna try and deflect from it. That's not even just what you're saying. It's just human nature. It's like blaming everything else but you yourself. That's the actual problem.
Yeah, and again, there's issues with it on both sides, and again, with both things, it's a
Because like what you
it's a
just said,
minority of
right?
people on each side that do
Because
it.
you could say a lot of people agree with, but there's people that obviously agree with him but don't say anything because they'll lose everything, which is also not fair. Because another
Yeah.
side can just kind of do whatever they want. That's also
Yeah,
not fair
again,
either. You know,
the issue is, yeah, he didn't say anything wrong. Like, they tried to make him into one of those people with those ill attempts, but it wasn't. And then,
Mhm.
somebody literally, supports it because, it wasn't one of those people saying it with ill attempts. And then, but they want to try to, like, paint Nick Merckx as bad. And then, boom,
Did
all
he
that stuff
lose being a
happens.
part of Face Clan? I didn't see anything about that. I'm
No,
pretty sure
he just was banned from a tournament, and he's fucking gay himself. So,
Oh
wow.
Lord.
And then Joker made a tweet about, like, they attacked themselves.
Yeah. I saw the Joker post because Nick. It wasn't
Yeah.
Nick. It was someone in the community who was like, "Hey, I'm gonna leave this community." But it's like, it's not that the community itself is the big. I don't believe everyone is bad. Really, I really don't think that, honestly. But this is the hole you get into.
There's pros and cons on both sides.
Yeah,
there's pros and cons.
This is the huge issue you get into. If you start accepting everything, then that's the problem you get. Because that's the reason why you can't accept everything. There's obviously there's an imaginary line between this stuff. I'm not saying
that's the loophole in this whole thing that needs to be fixed.
It's like, hey, what are we directly standing for? And that's it.
Yeah, like I will say, like most of it I don't think is bad. Like again, some of the stuff people try to point out at like parades and stuff is honestly no different than like just like girls in bikinis at the beach and stuff. And also, I mean, younger kids and like like 14 or like middle like teenagers like 14 or 13 I've seen like they have occurrences like it's not like that's the first time they've seen that type of stuff. It happens like like
Mhm.
I'm sure there's been many kids who saw like like went to a beach and some girl was like topless or something like. So it's not really like too much of a difference from the pride parade stuff but some people take it way too extreme. And then also the big issue is certain age kids.
Mhm.
Okay, I understand, and there's not really like a big
Yo, what's up,
issue with
Warren?
that. Like certain age groups, in my opinion, like it's no
Mhm.
different than like sex ed class, really. But taking like fucking like 6-year-olds and shit to it, I don't agree with that. That's too far.
I know people on that side don't like Ron DeSantis, but he said that you can have your pride parades, just don't bring kids. Because they always said we're not after your kids. Okay, that's cool. That's fine. If that's true, then go have your parade then. I'm not against having a parade. That's whatever, honestly. But then it's like they didn't, unless kids could be there, they're like, nah, we're good. It's like, I don't know. That's kind of proving a lot of
like again,
points,
like around 14 to 16, I think that could be like okay in most circumstances, but like when you get to like 8-year-olds and shit, I don't agree with that.
That's when there has to be a line drawn in that.
Yeah.
Well, let's go over the LEC. Wait, more. I thought I sent you a link already. Links are terrible on fucking Discord. Hold on, give me one second.
Oh yeah, you didn't invite the TSM fan. Oh,
well, he's black. I'm not inclusive here. I'm not inclusive here.
Jesus. But yeah. So anyway, but yeah, that whole situation is fucked because Nick Merckx wasn't one of them, but he's getting punished for it anyway. And then some guy supports it because, and then
Tim supported him, which makes sense, right? I mean outside of just the Nick Merckx, Call of Duty's been trash for ever since like after Black Ops 2. Call of Duty's been trash. That Renaissance era between Modern Warfare, Black Ops 2, Warfare 2, 3. After that era, 2007 to like 2014. Call of Duty's trash.
The last ones I really enjoyed was Black Ops 1 and Modern Warfare 3.
Modern Warfare was actually pretty good. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
3 had shitloads of glitches, but once they fixed them, it was a great game. It was pretty underrated, and Black Ops 1 was pretty great. After, like, I genuinely did not understand the hype for Black Ops 2. I thought it was pretty overrated. I didn't like the maps. I thought they were lazily done. I didn't like the zombie.
You didn't like the boat map on Black Ops 2?
I thought it was just lazily done and cheap, and same thing with a lot of the maps from it. I didn't like the new high-tech stuff. I thought those missions in the campaign were boring. And I only like really the story and cutscene bits in the campaign. The actual gameplay in Black Ops 2, I thought kind of sucked. And then I also thought the zombie mode was far weaker than in Black Ops 1 and World at War, especially that fucking transit shit show.
Well,
Yeah.
let's go over the LEC. So we have Team Vitality at 10th place, 1 and 5.
Guys.
So Warren, how you doing, man? We have 4 teams tied for 6th. XL is in 5th place at 3 and 3. 2 teams tied at 4 and 2. Then G2 and Fnatic sit on top at 5 and 1. This is a interesting split, to say the least. So we might as well start off with Team Vitality first, instead of the last place team. This team is just straight up dog shit. I'm pretty sure.
I don't think they're bad though.
They're fucking terrible, man. The gameplay is so bad.
I don't know.
They just don't play as a team. That's
it. That's it. They're not like go. You can elaborate. Well, Chloe can elaborate.
No, you can go first. It's fine.
Listen. I think the issue. I think Kaiser dropped off, and I think Perks dropped off. Those are the 2 main culprits. But also, I think mainly just Photon wants to be a carry, Upset wants to be a carry, Bo wants to be a carry, Perks wants to be a carry, and there's just a clash and just not good chemistry. But the players themselves, I think, are still pretty much all good, besides like Perks maybe and Kaiser. But yeah, it's just too much of a clash. And again, despite how Bo's playing, I still think he's a good player. I just think this has not been a good fit for him at all. I think if he went to a different LEC team or an EU regional team or an LCS team like 100 Thieves or something, I think he'll do a lot better.
My thing with Vitality is Bo has been just egregiously bad. Like, last game they played, he straight up just into their entire game willingly. Like, that, you can't be doing that on stage. That had nothing to do with any other people. He specifically just ran that game down. He did it. He's actually done it for a lot of their games this year. Outside of Winter, which I thought he was actually pretty good in Winter, but they failed when the bot lane fell apart.
I think again, some of it is his issues, but some of it is team stuff and communication. But I think overall, again, still good. But yeah, he's having a rough go because it's just a poor situation for him, and he's also just struggling a little bit himself. I think the main thing with Bo also is just he was amazing in like LPL and like scrims, but a lot of people fail to like remember is that was all in one certain meta and the same one, like when he went to LEC and was in solo queue, and when he was in LPL, which was a meta of Lee Sin and Olaf. That's what he was best at, and that hasn't been in the meta all year.
Yeah, so for me, I think Bo has been pretty bad for the most part for them. Photon seems to have kind of fallen off too. Perks has just been egregiously bad. He's just been egregiously bad. He's been terrible himself.
They all fallen off because they just don't play well as a team, and they all want to be carries. And
because it's a team that's just, I don't say bad. I would say it's a badly constructed team. Bo can't even talk to Photon, even if he's going top. He's going top. He can't even speak to him.
I mean, I've watched Bo's stream, and I agree with. They're not a bad team. They're just, for some reason, somebody doesn't want to take a back seat, and that's the problem we have. Like, the reason why teams like, say, I'm not trying to like dive into another region, but the reason why BLG does so good, right, is because they know it's either Ben or Elk that's gonna carry this game. It's not June. It's not going to be Yagao. They know, okay, Giga Ben or Elk. Now, when you got 4 people rather, want to carry and no one doesn't take a back seat, this is the same thing that happened with the self-made Karzi and Alfari, because it's the same thing. Just so this is a team construction thing. This isn't
an org issue, I think, just with their coaching staff.
Yeah, and they don't.
They have the Misfits guy from last year. They have the Misfits guy from last year, and they have, I forgot the other person they have. Like, if someone like that is not even good enough to, you say, coach the roster, like, what other, like, Vitality sucked for a long time. The only, like mentioned before, the only good year they've ever had was 2018. That's the only piece they've ever had.
Think about it. Attila wasn't no carry. It was either Cabochard. It was either Cabochard or it was what's his name in the mid lane?
Oh, Jizuke,
that's it. And the problem is that they're trying to use the method of let's win now, let's get all these good players. Like, once we go through the other teams, you see all these other teams have like either like Team BS, it's Crowny or Adam. SK. So
Adam's garbage. He got something.
I
God, they look so much better.
Easy, buddy. Take it easy. But you get my point, is what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
My thing with their gameplay is the same thing like 100 Thieves. They're because it's hard to really bring up a lot of things to compare them both, but there are some games that Team Vitality have been playing where they actually just strictly are playing to lose. They don't do anything. They just kind of sit there and do nothing. Then there's games where they go in and they actually are so disjointed, they just lose out on every single fight possibly there. Then you also have a problem with Kaiser, who's been strictly just running it down the entire year. Now, as we know, jungle and support are the positions you need to have pretty decent synergy with. Kaiser and Bull have no synergy. Perks and Bull synergy has been pretty off for the most part, and Photon's just up there. Also, I think people are being like, Upset really can't do anything. You really can't with a team like this because honestly, if they want him to be the carry, they really have to honestly have a stabilized mid game for him to have a stable carry performance.
He's easily been their best player, and I don't understand why Bo doesn't just like gank bot lane at this point. Like he's tried his jungle path, then he tried mid lane, he tried top lane. It's not working. He's not going to bot lane enough. You should just try that at this point. I don't know why he isn't.
Honestly, Vitality's strength of schedule coming up this week, they face
that's Koi, the thing. If they just win
BDS and Excel,
that's the thing. They still have a chance because all these teams have only 2 wins. They can just win like 2 wins in this last week. 2 games, I mean, and they will get at least probably tiebreaker. So they still have a chance to somehow make it to Worlds if they get their fucking shit together. I don't know if I see it, but
because when they be in the season finals, if they actually get out of groups, if they get out of this coming up this week, they'll be in the clear essentially. But then again, why would you want a team this bad to make it through? They're not good. They're awful.
I'll be honest. I wanted them to make it through because I wanted to see Upset and Photon at Worlds again. But also mainly, I think it would have been funny reading all the comments from the LPL fans if Bo was at Worlds and faced them.
Yeah, but that's just my thing with Team Vitality. I mean, I doubt going into this week they're actually going to be able to make it to the next stage. I mean, it's very possible they can make it to the next stage, but they would need a really simplified way to how to play the game. They need to be like, okay,
go back down.
Because they need to be like, Upset, you're gonna be the carry this week going through our games. Because right now what they're doing is not good. It's possible they can beat Excel. It's possible they can beat BDS. If they can get their wins against BDS and Excel, they could probably get through, like you said, with a tiebreaker.
Excel's on a roll right now somehow. BDS is shit, so I hope they can beat. I will say, ever since they subbed out that fucking fraud Adam, they've been way better. So hey,
remember it's because he was sick. Remember?
I don't care. Keep Agasivo in. He's fucking way better.
Oh my lord.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So Vitality. Yeah. I mean, is there a chance they can get past? I hope. I really don't, because honestly, their team is so bad. Watching them is so egregiously terrible.
I mean,
like,
I hope
watching
they go on a
just
run. I want to see, again, like, do I want to see the team in the form they're in at Worlds? No, but do I want to see the players at Worlds? Yes. So
I don't. They would get murdered at World. They would get dumpstered.
I know. I just think it's if the team's working, then it would be a fun team to see at Worlds with Upset and Photon and such. But I don't know.
I just think they have too many conflicting ideas of how they want to play the game. Also, you can see that in their gameplay too, honestly.
Okay. I don't know why Warren left. But yeah, again, Bell should just go to another. He probably won't get on an LCS. It would be an EU regional team or LCS. But either way, get on like an LCS team or something. But next year, I would say get a jungler, maybe like Sheo instead, and then stick to just Photon and Upset. Replace Perks for sure and Kaiser, but yeah, mainly just get Sheo, keep those 2 as your carries, and then just get other supporting players instead. Got a more supporting, like I would say, maybe like, what's his name again? Who's on SK again?
DOS?
No, like who's their support player again? Who was it?
DOS?
Yeah, well, somebody like that, but who's actually a bit better, maybe, and then some mid laner.
Honestly, it might be a thing that Chaz brings up. It might be just the people around him. I mean, Kaiser was pretty good for the last couple of years. Now he comes to Vitality and sucks. Vitality just is where people go to just suck and die.
Yeah, like that's the most surprising thing, that Kaiser's sucking this badly.
I think the problem is Vitality. Their expectations are always too high, and also we know that Kaiser's not the best enchanter player. And what's being played right now? Lulu, Milo, Yumi. And then when that's not, it's either Rakan or Nautilus.
Or you have Rel. Rel's in there too now a little bit.
Rel, but that's like a special case, even though she just got her mid-scope rework. So I don't think the meta fits him right now, especially when it's and they're not, again, like Cole pointed out, they're not advocating the resources to bot lane, and Photon refuses to play weak side. So, and this is a bot lane centric meta for the last like 2-3 splits. So they need to figure out something. I mean, can they still make playoffs? I mean, the group stage? Yeah, you only need 4 wins.
Yeah, so, and the LEC is really weak right now, so there's a good chance they could go 3-0 this week coming up.
Yeah, and I hope Heretic gets 1 win, but it's going to be tough. They're facing literally the top 3 teams.
Oh, you are a Spanish supporter? Oh yeah, remember we can't we can't be happy after losses because of what Sean said.
Jesus Christ, no! I think it would be a cool underdog story to see Heretics gets top 4 by the end of this.
And they could have makers.
No, they could have easily gotten a good stand, and if they just be fucking like XL and fucking who was it, Koi or something? Or
yeah. So anything else you want to say about Team Vitality? I mean, if they don't make it, I'm not surprised. They're extremely bad, honestly.
Yeah. I mean, I won't be surprised, but I mean, I hope they do over fucking BDS, SK, or Koi, or Stralis. They're all fucking bad. Like, so again, I don't know why you guys are so high on Koi, but I don't know.
The fuck are you talking about? Fucking black people?
Why were you so high on Koi?
I was never high on that team. What's wrong with you?
I've never even talked about them yet. Are you on crack?
You and Chaz, you guys were like, yeah, so Koi top 4. I'm like, I don't know, whatever.
They made top 4 these past few splits. Winter split, they made top 3. Last split, they made top 4 itself.
Barely.
Did they make top 4 last split? I think they did. Did they make top 4 last split? I'm pretty sure they did.
It was barely. They were basically like stumbling in.
Like, no, this okay, so now you have these teams right here. They have this like kind of soup right here. All right, so Team BDS, I mean, I'm not surprised by this. They it's like in sports how you have that one team that just kind of overperforms, but they're not gonna have this be consistent. That's what Team BDS
Crowny is excellent. Sheo, you're doing good. Nuke, you're all right.
Sheo's pretty bad this split, dude. He's been pretty much running it down for the most part.
Okay, well this split he has been kind of bad, but prior you were really good. But I guess I kind of agree. I guess he hasn't been the best.
Nuke came back down to where we knew he'd be at. Shit.
But I don't think he's been shit, but
you also have Adam.
Decent.
He played a few games for them. He got subbed out this week because he was sick for Aggressivo. Aggressivo went 4-0 on Renekton for a little bit, and then they just kind of fell apart because they didn't know how to play around to carry Renekton, which is I don't know how that's even possible.
Well, he was still better than Adam, so I guess we'll give him that.
Lord, stop it! He's not better.
Yes, Adam.
If he was better, why did they start him then? If they truly think he's better, start that motherfucker. Start winning.
Because they don't want Adam to make a twit longer, I guess.
Oh my god!
I think it's a draft issue because they're like and also I think it's like when it comes to some of these teams, I'm like, why are you drafting some of the drafts?
Dude, right? Why do people still give Niski? And every time someone gives Niski Gragas, I instant to stop watching. I'm like, that's a loss.
Yeah,
get out of the game.
I don't get it, but. I mean, of course, it's a draft issue when your support and top lane can only play 2 champs.
Oh Lord! All right, SK Gaming. They really should have beaten G2 in that game. I don't know why they didn't. They had a very big lead. They just stumbled. They're also a team that I think really should be in the top 8, but they've fallen off themselves too. Like Irrelevant's still actually pretty good. I like what he's still doing up there.
Yeah, I like Irrelevant. Yeah, I like Irrelevant. Their support has fallen.
What's the name? Their bot lane. Exekick and Dawson have fallen off decently hard.
No,
I
still think Exakick is good, but Doss has fallen off for sure. Marcoon, I still think he's good, but he's struggling a little bit this split. From the other two splits, he was great, but this split he's struggling a bit.
I think for Marcoon, he needs to simplify where he wants to allocate his resources. If Irrelevant's carrying the game, he needs to just go up there and help Irrelevant carry the game.
And Certus, as always, he's just average. He's not bad. He's not good. He's just always average. There we go.
He needs to just auto-pick Azir first games. That's what I need that guy to do when he carry them games.
To be fair, G2 is getting away with murder with that Kog'Maw comp that they have. Let's be honest. Let's call it for what it is. That we know if that Kog'Maw comp was against an LCK or LPL team, they would get punished much, much harder.
They're not playing that against any LPL LCK team.
They're not playing that against an LPL or LCK team. They're playing that against LEC.
Anything could happen. I mean, when fucking Hooney picks Ezreal top lane at Worlds.
Okay. Good Lord. SK, I think they'll be able to make top. I think they'll get into the group stage this week. I think the people not making it are Astralis and BDS for the most part.
I don't know. I think Astralis can make it. They're not that bad. That's the thing. Like,
this is just not the meta for leader. Like, they're all underperforming compared to how they performed. It's the same thing that people said about Team BDS. They're not going to be doing this too often. They're going to be coming back down to the level that we expect.
Pretty much.
I mean, I think something's going on. I think 1-1-3 is a lot of the junglers got affected by remember Lee was pretty big and some people were playing Lee Sin. So that really messed up some of the junglers that were there. Also, you notice that a lot of junglers aren't playing Wukong, right? They're playing Sejuani, they're playing Maokai, or Viego. For some reason, Viego has taken priority. So I think some of the junglers are having an issue with that. But in regards to Marcoon, I don't know. I don't understand why SK doesn't allocate resources to Irrelevant. He's been the most consistent. His laning has been the best so far of all the top laners, believe it or not. And he's been just he was like a split push god on Jax. I don't know what was going on. And then, so I don't know. I think SK can still make it. I want them to make it. I want Astralis and SK to make Worlds. You know that, baby. So
fucking hell.
Good.
Yeah, no, Astralis not making shit. 1-1-3 sucks ass. The rest of their players, Jane Hoon's really good. Outside of that, the rest of their players are.
Jane has ran it down almost the entire year. For
I disagree. I think he's
made bad.
I think he's made good plays. He just I think with the team they have, they don't capitalize on his plays or I think they're making him look worse. That's what I think. But
the only good players they have are Kabe and Leader. Those are their only good players.
I don't know. Ben needs to just play weak side. He just needs.
They stop giving Finn carries. Why dedicate any resources to that guy? That guy's a fraud, man.
Yeah, I don't know how he's still in LEC. That's incredible. But
it's so
anyway,
egregious watching him play. It's so bad.
He's literally just Dan. That's what he is.
Who else did we not talk about? We talked. Oh, Koi. Yeah, Koi's been just trying to shoot themselves in the foot ever since this whole year started.
Yeah, well, they're just like Astralis. They have no standouts. They're just all 5 decent players at best.
Mm-hmm. So for a Koi, they've just been shooting themselves in the foot ever since the year started. Getting rid of Otawamne in the offseason, no reason whatsoever. Then you got rid of Trimby, who's been just revitalized on Fnatic. Then now you're just left with Larson, Malrong, and Comp. Comp's been severely underperforming pretty much all year. They brought over Advian. Advian's never been good, just like Limit. They have this. Those two have just never been really great, stand out, nothing. They've just been kind of what do kids call it nowadays? Peak mid. The kids call it that for it's a movie terminology for everyone's watching this. Actually, Advian's just nothing. Limit and Advian are the same players. They do the exact same thing. There's no upside to them at all. And Koi's I'll just take them. What the fuck? Larson, Larson's, I don't think it's bad. Larson's actually great in my opinion. The problem here is
Larson's good.
He just sits in lane and
Shigenda is actually good.
Yeah, he's actually picked it up. I agree. He's actually picked it up this week.
He's done better. Just not as good as other top laners.
But what can they do, dude? Malrong just walks in games and just goes, I want to be in debt and just run it down.
Here's the thing about Koi. They're going to make playoffs. They're going to make a run. the Koi is like SKT. Like right now, they're acting stupid, but when playoffs come, that's when they decide to like win games.
Yeah.
Like,
The problem
it's
is, what
true.
is your schedule right now for the last
Koi,
week?
outside of Vitality, G2, and Astralis.
Ooh. Okay, so
they'll
should
probably
win
get it
it.
with a tiebreaker, I imagine.
Yeah, probably make it in, but I don't know.
Might be not. If they can beat Vitality and if they can just beat Astralis, they'll be at 4-4. They'll probably just get in on maybe.
I don't understand the Avian mood. Like he's good, but fuck you. Trimby's better, and he had that chemistry with Calm for a while, and their play styles worked well together. Even if Trimby was making some slip ups here and there before they replaced him. I don't get it. They just gave Fnatic a fucking great
gift. Has been a personality issue. I mean, we've seen Trimby.
There had to be clashes. There had to be
personality issues.
Probably.
That's all it is.
Yeah,
it's like why do they not bring back Inspired? Probably because they don't want to play with them anymore. Right? Like this thing is, why would you? If you're gonna pick between Advian and Limit, just pick any random from like ERL. There has to be ERL players better than Advian. Please tell me there is.
Advian wasn't bad when he was on that.
Yeah, no, he's good. He's LEC material, I do think.
I don't think he is. I think he's not that good in general. I think he's just okay at.
I mean, there could be better supports next year, but for now, I think he's still LEC material. I don't know.
Because Koi's looked pretty just bad for the most part. I mean, if Larson doesn't really get them into a position to win, they just don't really do anything. Like Shigena, yeah, he can carry some games, but they don't dedicate resources to that guy to make it happen.
Yeah, so now XL, I don't even know what to say. Like how they got, they just like stumbled to 3 wins.
They are picking basic front to back team comps. That's it.
Yeah, and they're just capitalizing off of other teams' fuck ups. Literally,
they are not good.
They
abysmally bad.
They just stumbled their way to 3 wins because the other teams fucked up and they played safe.
I look at XL's team though, and well, you got to remember that Abadage and Oruwamne play together, and I think Limit was on that Shabba team as well. They have I think synergy. The Peach has been a nice
Peach has been great. He's one of their saving graces, and then I also think Oruwamne is still solid. The other 3 I do not like at all. I think Patrick has fallen off the cliffs. Abadage still looks like shit. Limit still looks like shit.
Yeah, it's crazy how they still keep Patrick. Like I for years Patrick has been
consistent. That's it.
And I'm surprised he's stayed on XL for so long.
It has been the big
But where else is he gonna go? Like
he could have went to LCS a while ago and just make tons of money.
Oh, he's not trying to like lose his career.
He knows like I think he knows better that if he goes to LCS, it's going to be like a Dignitas or IMT.
He's going to get mega.
He would be on IMT for sure.
I mean, let's be honest. If he comes over to LCS, he's getting mega exposed. He knows where his bread is at. He stayed there.
He's like their franchise player. He's been there since like God knows how long. So I mean, I think can they be a dark horse? Maybe. I mean, it seems like it's becoming a mage.
If they make top 4, I'm gonna shoot my.
That's not happening. That's not happening.
Jesus.
If that happens, my dad is gonna come back into my life. Yeah, holy crap!
I'm gonna shoot myself.
No, because like this one is XL could probably make the next stage if they play that basic front to back team comp that they did this week to get 3 wins. Sure.
Yeah,
but they're gonna get knocked out in the first round.
Oh yeah.
They're gonna get knocked out. You cannot play that in the BO3 and that's gonna get you 3 wins.
Yeah, no. I mean, LEC is such a clusterfuck that you'll never know. But if they make top 4 or some shit, then that's just a LEC being LEC.
I'm gonna do a K-Dot. Let's keep it a buck. Shout out to K-Dot. LEC is just regressed. Like this. This is terrible. Like this is. I'm sorry.
This is such a shit.
This is the worst I've ever seen.
This is the worst year for the LEC. Last year was like. I'll take last year. Last year was way better.
There is no hope. Even Caps looks bad. Like when Niski. Think about it this way. When Niski and Humanoid, and to me the best mid laners are Niski, Humanoid, and Vitio. But when Niski is your top 2 mid laner, there's a problem. I'm sorry, man. Like,
dude, you know what how much parity is in the LEC right now? Is that Mad Lions could go from having their worst split ever, barely with a tiebreaker by a team fight, make it into the next round, then somehow win everything to win a split, go to MSI, get exposed just fuck, not even just by international teams. They got exposed by a team in their own region. Actually, only to come back and be 4-2 right now, which is ridiculous. That's how much parity there is in the LEC. Like Excel, I don't think their team is just pretty bad for the most part. They're just getting away with murder right now. There's better players on all these teams below them right here. Like even there's better teams on every team below them. But right now, if you can just play basic front to back team comps, like I mentioned with Azir and fucking Maokai, then you can just get away with it. Honestly, I don't even think Team Heretics is as good either. Like Evi's dog shit.
I think the most balanced.
Wait, what?
I think Evi's awful.
Evie has been fine. What are you talking
fine.
about?
He's not. But the thing.
All right, so I'll just be by myself today.
Okay,
are you blind? Have you seen
not
the
problem
games?
though? They actually have a if you look at their team, they're like you're not asking Flackett to be your carry.
He actually has been their carry though, despite him not really being it.
Of course, you've played 200 years in every late game. Of course, that's your job, right?
Yeah, no, all of them have been doing well. I would say
I would say the most important players on this team is Jankos, and Jankos doesn't have a dead body in the mid lane. He had Ruby. Like BTO is
like again, BTO's always good still. MSK, he was never a fraud. He just needed to find a better fit.
I think they've been okay at best. I think this is also a fraud team.
No, they've been good. They're not a fraud team.
They're the most.
I'm pulling a Warren from last year. They're frauds.
They will
in the next round.
Well, no, they will drop off in the standings because they're facing the top 3 teams all this week, so they'll get like 4 and 5 or 5 and 3.
They only got as the start they did because they had an easy strength of schedule. This week, if they go 0-3,
they're still good. That's still what they're still above all those teams. Or like top
all
5.
Those games were sloppy for the most part, outside of like one. That
Okay,
SK Gaming game was
still,
not.
They still got it done.
No, they were bad. The other team themselves were throwing so hard. They could have been
undefeated right now. They could be 6-0. So just stop it.
With the LEC being this bad, sure. I agree with that.
Anyway, they'll drop off. They'll get like 5 wins at most by the end of it.
Tell me Mersa's good. Have you watched him play? Mersa is awful. How he's been paycheck stealing all these many years blows my mind.
He's not good, but he's not terrible.
That's bad. That's mid. That's still not that good.
He's
mid, but that's not terrible. Still, he's not dragging down the team.
I'm saying they're not a good team.
But remember last time we spoke, what was the problem? It was Team Jankos. Now it's like team. Okay, we got a mid laner like that, and Jack Spectra not that good.
Yeah,
right?
No, they're solid. Yeah, Jack Spectra dragged the team because he was supposed to be their carry, and then he flopped in the LEC sadly. So now they're good. They're solid. They'll get top 5 or around that.
I wouldn't say good. I just think they're average.
Do I think they're gonna make a playoff run? Maybe a first round, but I don't see anything past that.
They could get top 4, but I don't know. But
if they do, LEC is mega doomed.
Me personally,
I think 5th or 6th place will probably be it.
I think Flackett has been an upgrade over Jack Spectra, but I mean, we all knew that going in. That's not a surprise.
No, anyway,
he's worked with Jankos, so
yeah.
So I'm saying they could surprise. You never know.
Vetfield's been decent outside of not being on Excel. He's been okay. Nothing super
I just want
severing.
Jankos to make 1 more Worlds, and I think
that
that's about it. So I mean, because
this would be a nice story if they somehow made Worlds.
I agree.
Then LEC is doomed. I promise you. They make Worlds. LEC's dog shit.
Yeah, Evie makes Worlds in LEC.
Evie makes Worlds. You see, have you been seeing that guy play? He's had like maybe
he's
that one Renekton game. He's been bad. He's been throwing a lot. He had that
What I will say, this is what I'll say is that this meta for top laners right now, the top lane champs are very strong. So there are going to be bad top laners who look better right now because champions such as Renekton are very OP. But nonetheless, no, he's been fine, MSK. He's been perfectly fine.
He's been not good.
He's done well.
All year, he's probably had like 3 standout games. Those been on.
He's done well.
He's not. That's not his job. His job is just not to die and feed too much.
He needs to go Super Saiyan and go back to Japan and turn into Goku.
No, he's been a good weak side guy, which was his main goal
he is the weak side. There is
he's been a good weak side top laner, and that was his point in Heretics in the first place. But the reason why he had looked worse in the last split and a half after the first half of the split in winter was because Ruby and Jack Spectra didn't live up to their potential, and then Jankos didn't have chemistry with them. So it made him look worse. But now that they actually have a real mid laner and ADC, now he's doing his job and he looks well.
No, he actually is the part of the team that's just so bad. He literally throws games constantly by his bad map awareness and his bad team fighting. If this was Revenge, you would not be levying that same shit. He plays literally like Revenge.
Well, Revenge at least doesn't drag the team down now.
Oh, let's go to the top 3 now. Mad Lions actually have been pretty solid for the most part. Nothing egregiously bad from them. They've just been okay.
They're just
honestly.
the same team stuff.
Yeah, they're pretty much playing like how do I say? They're like, you remember the year when 100 Thieves first bought out all the players on Golden Guardians, and they pretty much played the same, and they were like third in the standings by spring, and they got all those wins, but they barely got them. Like they had to come back in a lot of games because they were discovered by that point, but still decent enough. But then, by the end of it and playoffs, they got exposed and stuff, and they started playing a lot worse until Abaddon and Reaper came in. Yeah, that's sort of like Mad Lions right now. They're just getting a lot of wins because of that, and they're playing to like how you fucking described Heretics, but you're saying they're good. Like, what the fuck, MSK?
Like, I think Karzi's been pretty solid for the most part for them. Like, all of them have been pretty good for the most part. Like, but this is
Chasey has fallen off.
You think I was talking about Chasey? Good and Chasey don't really go in the same conversation.
I'm saying he's fallen off. Hilisena isn't doing as well. Niski isn't doing as well at all. It's just Elyoya and Karzi.
For the most part, for Mad Lions, I think this is a start that most people thought they would have last split, but they had a pretty bad one to the point where they almost didn't make it in. I think this is pretty much what I expect out of them. It's crazy watching people go, we shouldn't expect much from this roster. This roster has outside of Chasey, they have pretty well-accomplished players for the most part. I don't know where this mentality came from that these guys shouldn't have that attached to them. You're talking about players that have won LEC and have been to Worlds multiple times. It's like, no, you have a pretty top 4. You have a top 4 roster on paper, minus how we didn't know what Chasey would do coming to this year. But yeah, Mad Lions, they've just been okay. They've been, looking how bad the year is. Yeah. We put them at top 4 anyway. They're pretty much top 4 themselves. Right now, these guys should get into the next round. They're pretty much secure for the most part. Right?
Yeah, I just find that funny though, how there's players like Chasey who have more LEC titles than Alfari.
When we go into G2, I'll rip them apart. But Mad Lions is just the same team. They didn't really change. Let's be honest. If Elyoya could have his way, he would have Humanoid back, not Niski. But because remember, people forget Elyoya was about to go to Fnatic. Remember that, and they were trying to find a new mid laner. So, but which to me is kind of like if I was Niski, I'd be like, "Fuck you, guy." But that's just me.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, dude. Mad Lions won a title with players that didn't even want to be there. Not even want to be there. They wanted to sell them. Remember, beginning part of the split, Elyoya was supposed to go to G2. Then Mad Lions were being stupid with the offer, so they started talking to Fnatic. And then
Niski was supposed to go to BDS.
Yeah, man. That is also like they won a title with players that they didn't even want.
Well, actually, it was BDS or Astralis. I forgot which one. But anyway, yeah.
He probably lucked to make the better decision there because, look at where things happen out for them.
Yeah, you'd have to play with 1-1-3. Fuck's sake. Anyway, yeah, they're pretty much just Golden Guardians.
Now we have Fnatic and G2. Fnatic look pretty.
G2 is a fraud.
They are a fraud.
I would say Team Heretics is a fraud too. There's a lot of frauds.
G2 is a fraud, but they're still LEC is so bad that they're good enough to still be top 3. And Fnatic, if I don't know if they have just a season MVP thing or split MVPs, but if Noah doesn't win MVP this split, holy fuck.
Yeah, it's crazy how they got rid of Reckless. I even said before the split started, you should have never went back to Reckless. I was like, why go back to this guy? There has to be better people than this guy.
It's almost like he's shit. Jesus.
Yeah. Fuck. So they got rid of Noah and they got rid of Advient. Not Noah. They got rid of Reckless and they got rid of Advient and they got rid of fucking what's that guy when it's like Rux?
Yeah.
They actually got a good bot lane. Look at what happens when you have a good bot lane.
They changed their top laner.
Cole, don't you say anything because you just want to say one. Oh man, Rux is looking good in play-ins.
No, that's not that. What are you talking about? Yes, he did. I didn't say he would work out this split.
I said he looked. I never said he looked good. I thought he looked pretty bad. I said he looked good against Australia, which doesn't even count for the most part.
I think he looked perfectly fine, and that he had good chemistry with upsets. That's what I said. I said that he did this deserve. And hold on. Let me finish as well some more. And that I also said that I didn't say he would be a permanent option in LEC, but just he deserved a look. Also, the problem was, with upset, I said either keep Hylissane for Reckless or keep upset for Ruckus, but then they did the exact fucking opposite, and wow, it didn't work. Holy fuck.
No, he only played good because he played against Australia. That's why he played
good. He did good against major region teams.
But... It was 2 EG, and it was against fucking Order. Obviously, he should be winning those. That you can't it's an easy strength of schedule. He should not be in a losing position with that. Upset's better than Kaori. Upset's definitely better than Australian AEC. They probably had. I don't know who the fuck they had that year. Probably Raid or some bullshit like that, honestly. But so Fnatic got rid of bought the other previous AEC and supports. They brought in Noah and Trimp. He looked pretty good. Noah looks absolutely insane. Looks cracked actually. Humanoid and Razork don't look like they're fucking dog shit right now, which is good. And they have Chad Oscar in.
Yeah, I'd say though this is what kind of happens a lot with a lot of teams. So they, besides 100 Thieves right now with Quad, but besides him, this
Quid.
is kind of Quid. I keep mixing them up.
I call him Squidward.
That's the guy in fucking NS whatever. But this is sort of what happens though. A lot of teams they get 20-year-old or 22-year-old players playing in the Korean Challenger League, and in the very first split they have that motivation and energy while the rest of the teammates are kind of dead, and then they drive their team to have better performances than they should. Even that's happened right now in XL with Peach. And then usually the next split though, or next year, they don't do as well, but still.
I think for G2, I think Broken Blade has been okay. I think this split has been weird for G2. And I love G2, but this split it's this 5-1 record is impressive, but when you're actually looking at the games, it's
frauds. Stop it.
Yeah.
Caps look like shit. When Yike is outperformed, Yike. Let's be honest. When you break it down, Han Sama is not a good ADC. Let's be honest. I'll break this team down. Han Sama, not the best ADC. He can only play Draven, and then he looks okay on everything else. Let's see. Mickey X, he's fallen off. Yike is the only shining light this guy can play. He's adapted. He can play the tanks. He can play the facilitator. He can carry.
Mm-hmm.
Caps, I don't know. He's now turned into Crown.
Crown.
Crown. Because he's gonna cry or something's gonna go wrong. I like Caps, but he hasn't changed.
He's not had a good year at all, honestly.
The problem with Caps is he still thinks that he's a rookie that came into the split, and in between 2018, 2017 and 2017 to 2019, he still, and it's like Faker. Faker, he fell off, but you've seen Faker as adapted. Caps is trying to adapt, but something's not working. So he needs to really go back to the table because it's his style doesn't work now, and he's not doing that. Broken Blade, he's kind of coin flip. Some games he's looked good, some games he doesn't. I think that it's funny to say this, but Yike is the most shining light on this G2 team.
Yike's actually had a pretty good year. But you also put an asterisk in that too. If you have players like Caps and Broken Blade and Han Sama and Mickey X around him, how could you not shine around those players too?
True, but he could also be he could be like Razork when he was on Fnatic and be the scapegoat too. So
he's performed pretty well. He's performed great, honestly.
And Dylan Falco, let's call it, he has a hand, he's playing these drafts that would not work against some top teams. I'm telling you, that you really think that Cogmore comp would work against a BLG or JDG?
Well, how do you levy that? If SK Gaming can't even beat them when they're essentially just giving them a game, do you fault that on G2 or do you fault that on SK for not completing the game?
I fault that on SK. SK should be right now. They should be 4 and 3. They should be 3 and 3 personally, or 4 and 2. 3 and 3 or 4 and 2. I don't think they deserve the one spot. but they don't know how to end the games because they have good players. It's not like nobody's a scrub on SK. Like they're all outside of Certus. Those are Rook and Marcoon. The rest of the team and Irrelevant. DOS and XKick have been rookies and they've been pretty good. I think the meta. I think Swiffer needs to change up his drafts. But Dylan Falco's getting away with robbery with some of these drafts, man. Like, you're telling me you see them win with Kog'Maw before? Just ban the Kog'Maw because the whole point of Kog'Maw is to strip tanks. And what's being played a lot? Cassante, Scion, Malphite, and then it goes down to Bruiser.
And on a side note, I need one of you to like make an edit on Photoshop with one of these posters, but with Noah on Fnatic instead.
Jesus Christ. Also, I want to make sure I mention this is Fnatic, look, just revitalized in their gameplay as well. I mean, I hope they can keep this up. Obviously, I hope they don't just really start falling off, actually. Hopefully, it's not one of those, like, strong starts with a new guy, but then he starts falling off, actually. I just hope that doesn't happen. Other than that, yeah, I mean, the league just looks pretty shit for the most part right now.
Fnatic's going to win LEC. They're going to win Worlds.
Sure. JDG's winning Worlds. And winning Summer. A Grand Slam. Everything.
Vicla's way better than Knight.
Sure. All right. That pretty much will wrap it up for today. Going into the final week of the LEC 2023 Summer Split regular season for these 3 weeks. The biggest matchups would have to... Well, the biggest narrative going in is can Vitality make it to the next round? That's pretty much the biggest narrative now.
I think another thing, again... Heretics literally face in the top 3 teams. Will they get any wins? I think that's like a very important question to see if they're legit.
Can we see the strength of schedule? Can you pull the schedule?
Yeah, they're facing Mad, G2, and Fnatic.
If Heretics get some decent wins against these guys, then I'll be like, all right, cool. They'll be like, okay, so they face Mad Lions. The Heretics also face Fnatic. And they also face G2. That should be a 0-3 week.
No, I think they could beat.
They could beat Mad.
They could beat Mad, and they could beat G2 because I just think that G2 is just getting away with that draft that they have. Like, if you take away the Kog'Maw, because the problem is they're literally saying it's like what I'm trying to think. It's like what JDG did with Knight on Syndra. How he used Syndra as a defense mechanism with his he to never have anyone. If you notice, if you watch those games, Knight was actually kind of like the third sort of shield to kept Ruler. And if nobody can reach the Kog'Maw, it's gonna shred. And then Azir has that range to push somebody back. Maokai's also gonna keep somebody back. They're just getting away with a robbery draft, and nobody.
Yeah, well, this is my concern with Heretics this week is that I do feel like in majority of areas will be neck and neck with teams like maybe G2 and Mad, but I feel like just one mistake by any of their players would put them back like 5k gold. They can't make any mistakes.
Yeah, and they have to play like they need a late game insurance. So I think they could beat. I think they could beat G2, and I think they could beat Mad. I don't know about Fnatic though. I think they can go 2-1. Believe it or not.
Well, they would have to target Noah.
Yeah, the thing here is Fnatic's playstyle directly comes from mostly Trimby getting them active in the early game. So we have to see basically if you target their bot lane, if you put them behind, how does that affect Fnatic right now?
They would have to go, I think they would have to try to go for a Draven, Rel bot lane and hope for the best that they get killed.
Well, everybody, we're going to wrap it up here. Actually, it was good to talk about the LEC once again. And yeah, Warren came back for just this time. Awesome to have you back, man. Pretty sure there's nothing else. Oh, so we'll probably end up moving this to maybe Thursday. Actually, maybe Thursday at 7. I think that'd be a little bit more better of a time frame. But my schedule's been all jumbled up because the LEC and LCS. What happened?
I can do Thursday. That's 10 p.m. your time, right?
Yeah. I'm trying to put it probably
I can do Thursdays.
Yeah, Thursday's probably better. Yeah, because
I can endure LCS.
Yeah, Monday and Thursdays work best. So yeah.
Yeah, because it's been so hard trying to get this schedule because you know how the days got flipped for a lot of these things.
I mean, is your Nightwing thing still on Tuesdays?
The main days are Tuesdays and Saturdays, actually.
Okay.
But
did you want to talk about LPL? Because there were some interesting games. Like, did you see that Uzi Ezreal game?
I have to watch. I've been a little bit behind the LPL.
He went it was, I think, Ultra Prime. He went 18-1-7 on Ezreal in game 2. Yeah, you need to watch that game.
I have to catch up with. I have to catch up with the LPL. I've been a little bit behind.
Yeah, just watch EDG versus Ultra Prime first.
The LCK, I've been able to keep up a little bit too, but all this league coming out, it's just hard to keep up with a lot of this stuff.
And Anyone's Legend won their 3rd matchup. Yippee.
And you mean Anyone's bitch?
Yeah. Okay. They're going to make Worlds.
TSM played Ruby today.
Looked like shit. Yay.
They should have kept Insanity, honestly.
I mean, Insanity's champion pool, though. I mean, how big do you think it is? They had to put him on Graves for 3 games.
All right, everyone. We'll see you guys on Sunday to talk about the LCS 2023 Summer Split, and we will have our LEC episode coming up next week on Thursday, probably around probably this time around 5 p.m.
We'll talk about Vitality and Heretics going 3-0.
Yeah, and if that happens, I will get on here and I will take a shit right in front of you two.
Okay, I hope it happens now.
All right, we'll see you guys on Sunday. Actually, Warren, you want to say anything else before we head out? Actually,
yes, Heretics is making Worlds. They're gonna get the last spot.
LEC is doomed if that happens, like I mentioned before. Holy shit, LEC is so bad this year. What happened?
Also, thanks for having me on.
Ain't a problem, man. Anytime. All right, we'll see you guys on Sunday, 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. PST. Talk about the LCS. And our LEC episodes will be on Thursdays, 5 p.m. PST, or around this.
Yeah, and on Saturdays will be the LJL talk and Warren's time in Japan recently.
Yeah, you know it. Egg Roll City.
We can also, have a podcast for Brazil, right? Brazil League of Legends, Red Candid.
Oh, right? Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I wish fucking Loud would just get wrecked. They're such frauds, but outside of their fucking ADC, holy fuck.
Loud is so good, man. Hashtag go Loud.
Yeah, no, it's just their mid lane and ADC, that's it. But they're fucking... Again, Brazil are such choke artists that the better teams will never win and make Worlds or MSI. It's always going to be the teams with veteran talent, even though they're playing poor.
Oh my god! Watch. Did you guys see the VCT Americas, the Tokyo tournament for Valorant? Who won? It was It wasn't a North America team. I'm pretty sure it was an NA team actually.
Was it like EG or something?
Pretty sure EG won. The Tokyo Masters tournament.
Yeah, I don't know.
If the VCT Americas go on, I watched those. It was great watching Cloud9 go back and forth with NRG the way they did. That was actually pretty impressive. I can't play Valorant to save my life actually, but watching it is pretty impressive. Actually,
I'm just pissed off with Cloud9 and Valorant, just that they did that to fucking whatever.
They almost made it too, man. They almost made it. Oh, Fnatic won Valorant Masters Tokyo. Yeah.
I can't stand when I see a team that has the potential to win it all at each tournament and gets close, but then always shoots themselves in the fucking foot like Cloud9 and Valorant. And not only that, but has the best talent, but then for money reasons, fucking fucks them over and gets rid of them. And yay. I'm sorry, you knew you didn't have the money for him, but you still did that. And then now he's not in tier 1 for this year. Good job.
Yeah, for the whole Valorant system is really weird. Where I like the format for the teams and how the league is structured to a certain extent, but if a player's not signed to a team, they can't play for the rest of the year. That's just fucking
that's shit. But I'm glad that Riot Games listened to literally everything we wanted with League of Legends, from the leagues system to the schedule, and then did it for Valorant instead. Thank you, Riot.
Yeah. They Fnatic smashed EG 3-0. EG was a team in Valorant where they looked really horrible for most of that split. They were horrifyingly bad.
It's just fucking typical.
But they skipped into the playoffs, and there was that one player they had looked really good for them. He carried the shit out of them actually.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, and Carmine Corp is gonna win, of course.
Remember when TL threw against NRG? If you're watching the Masters Tokyo, I was like, oh my god. And they just throwing against each other now. What the hell?
Yep.
All I'm gonna say is that SK and Astralis and Heretics are making worlds.
Astralis is the best Order in Counter-Strike ever. At least you have that.
If any, okay, besides if Astralis or SK make worlds, I'll burn all of my clothing and then go to the store nude, buy some more, and publish.
Aren't you in Canada? They love that shit over there.
You dumb fuck! You don't even know where I'm at right now.
Good, but yeah, Fnatic looking good with Noah and Trimby. G2 is gonna win LEC this split, and then we're all gonna be sad because LEC is gonna get absolutely wiped to the floor at Worlds. I mean, NA's gonna be there. There'll be NA teams at Worlds. There won't be really good teams at Worlds for NA, but there'll be teams there, right?
Yeah. We'll see them go 1-5.
Oh, well, we'll have that BO5 between LEC's 4th seed and NA's 4th seed. We'll see how that goes.
And it's going to be typical, though. The 1 year where that finally happens is going to be the only year where the LCS 4th seed ends up being worse than the LECs. The only year. So then the LEC fans will be like, see, even though clearly every other year LCS was way better.
All right, guys. We'll see you on Sunday. Good night, everybody.